Right, so what this kit consists of, that's your main heater, that's the business end of it, okay? You then need to mount that down. So how do you do that? Fitting plate, okay? This doesn't work for all applications. Sometimes you need to have a, you can get them off Facebook, you can get them off other places where that's raised slightly if you've got a thicker vehicle, okay? It'll become apparent later on. Fuel tank, okay? You've got your fuel tank there. As well as that, we have also got a pickup for the fuel as well. We've got a fuel pump, we have got wiring loom, control panel, remote control. These are bloody brilliant. We've got real thin fuel line. That's not to everyone's taste. I've noticed some people do use a more heavy duty one. Ideal world, if you're using it in an off-road vehicle, I probably would go for a bit better pipe, but that comes with it and it's adequate. You've got your heating duct, you've got your 2 vents, you've got a splitter for the 2 vents, gives you options. You don't have to have 2, I'm only going to be fitting 1. We've got all the fixtures and fittings, all the Jubilee clips, we've got exhaust pipe, silencer. Not all kits come with a silencer, so you need to make sure you get a good one like this that's got everything. Then we've got the air intake pipe, air filter, and that's your lot. That is everything that you need to be warm. For people that are unsure about this, people that say, oh, don't get the Chinese diesel heaters, they'll kill you and stuff. I've been running one of these for about 5 years now, and if mine broke tomorrow, I'd be ordering another one of these the day after. It's that good value for money. The upside downside of these is I have had the Eberspacher. Yes, the build quality is a bit thicker and stuff, but it's also 7-8 times the price, okay? The other issue is with the more expensive ones, you can't fix them yourself. You have to have the software, things like that, to then get dialed into it, and the price that it was going to cost for the technician to dial into mine and diagnose it was about the same as getting all of this, okay? So that's something you need to factor in, is value for money. How this is made for this money, I have no idea, but it is. Every man and a dog's getting it, and you'll see why. Right, so the first thing we talk about is placement, okay? So in my Land Rover, it's in the rear, it's in the storage area, it's under the bed, and it can pump out from there. On this one here, we're going to fit in the storage locker at the front. We're then going to pipe up and into the living space where it can blow out and dissipate there, okay? Right, so the first job is to work out where you're mounting this thing. So we've worked out that when this sits up here in this corner, we've got enough room to have a 90-degree bend and then into the heater. The other thing that you've got to then do, put this down where it's going to sit, and then you're going to have to measure underneath and work out what's underneath, because last thing you want to do, drill through a vehicle and end up hitting a fuel line, a cross member, anything like that. Luckily, we're all right on this. We've got one cross member that sits around about here, so we've missed both sides of it, and we're before the next cross member, so we're all good here. So we can mark this up. We're going to put 2 holes through, which is going to be the inlet and outlet for the burner, and a single small hole for the fuel line. Once that's done, we can drop the heater down, and then we can plumb that bit up. So that's all the pilot holes done. World's bluntest harbour, this. Before someone says I am deliberately elongating this because I've got one size too small. Over that with a file. Right, so what that's given us, we've got 4 mounting holes, the fuel line hole, the inlet and the outlet. So when that sits on, we've got the holes there, okay? It's as easy as that. Then what we're going to do, we'll screw this down, and it's dead simple. So what we'll do, Put that on there, fit it to there, and then we can just screw that down. It is dead straightforward. Right, so this is where it might vary a bit depending on vehicle. So we're going to mount this plate onto here now. We're going to bolt this down. Once this is bolted down, we can then put the exhaust on this side here, which is the outside. This is the hot end, the cold end. Because it's quite a tight hole, we're going to drop this down and then do the inlet, which is this one, onto here from underneath, and we'll do the fuel from underneath. It's nice and easy to do on this. Some people do a little bit bigger hole in the bottom of the vehicle, and they'll attach all these things to it first and drop it all down through. There is no right way to this, it's whatever suits your circumstance. So nice and easy. It is literally just a case of bolting things together. A lot of people overthink this. The biggest thing is, just bear in mind, you've got a lot of heat and you've got fuel knocking about, so it's just sensible. The other thing that I've noticed a lot of on the groups and things that you see, all the nightmares of it, is coming out of this hot end, you have got a hot exhaust. Be sensible with it. If it's touching something that's flammable, if you've got like a wood floor, something like that, you're gonna have to cut the hole out bigger so it's not touching, because you get enough heat and you're running this thing for 10-12 hours or something like that, you're gonna end up burning something down. That's where the common sense comes in. All these stories of, oh, it's gassing people and stuff, the heating engineers that have looked at these say all the combustible bit is all done through the bottom, so that's not the big risk that people are worried about. It's the burning the thing down and the dodgy electrics, in my opinion. So just be sensible with that. And we're just having a bit of a discussion as well. My glamorous assistant for today, we were trying to work out whether it would be better if this plate was underneath the vehicle and you clamped two. And both ways work, really. This is the way that everybody seems to do it. This is the way that I've done it in my Land Rover. However, there's totally loads of merits to doing that underneath and pulling two. Right, so we've got this plate bolted on here now. So all we're going to do, like I say, you can do these holes a bit bigger. And what you can do is, like on my Land Rover, that whole thing is just cut out because the plate covers it and that sealed it. A lot of people, they will attach everything on now and drop it down through the floor. It's a trailer, it's not that hard to work on, so we're going to do it the difficult way. So there we go, that's nice and flat. Headphone users, rest in peace. And this is especially for Broken Land Rover Adventures, because he just loves it when I use tech screws on everything. But these are the supplied parts, so like, this is the proper tool for the job. You could, in theory, mount this down first, drop this on and bolt through from the bottom. Like I say, there's many different ways you can do this. Many. Right, so that is now bolted in. So the next thing we can do now is it's the inlet and the outlet. So you've got your exhaust pipe. This should be fairly common sense. You've got the hot end, we put that on, there's a Jubilee clip clamped down. At this end we've got the silencer, you're going to put that in a sensible place. Then you've got another pipe which is your inlet, again attach that on and move the air filter away from the exhaust so you're not sucking the fumes back round again. And then there's the fuel line on, so let's do that now. So what we've done under here, as you can see, we've come under with the exhaust this way, the silencer's just there pointing down. There is a drain point on this, so make sure you get the drain point at the bottom. The inlet is over there, just behind, as much as possible with the cross member protecting best it can from all the elements, things like that. I've had to do quite a tight bend on the exhaust because unfortunately this is going to be an off-roader and it will get whacked and all the rest of it, so it's as up out of the way, as you can see, as possible. Trying to make it stew strong. Then just on here we've slipped this on, so the next thing we're going to run up here, so we've got to do a hole through. That's going to go into the cabin where we fit the air vent. See light. The difficult bit we're going to have now is they've been a bit tight on the pipe, so they've only given about 500. You stretch it out a little bit. Ideally 2 pieces or a metre would have been absolutely perfect, so we'll see how we get on with getting it up through this hole. Absolute worst case, I'll just get a bit longer section. It's not the end of the world. What I'm going to do eventually is I am going to have the duct out here, but with what we're doing with this trailer, I'm going to box this off and it's going to have a section that comes up here for 2 reasons. One, I want the pipe to go up here, and then if any point I can go across the top or this way, and we can have little vents that come out, so they've got a curtain of warm air that comes down. But for now, until we get the thing fitted out with the cupboards and things, it's going to sit just here and Stu will just have to lump it. It's stew strong. Right, let's get that pipe up and see where it actually falls. Don't film this bit, fat man crawling. So there we go. We've got attached to the back here, this is the exit where the heat comes out. We're going to go up here. I'm going to get a piece of all-round band and I'm going to secure that a little bit tighter, just to keep it flush as things go in and out of the vehicle, the trailer. I don't want Stu catching this too badly, so if we can get that nice and snug up, then goes in. We've got the heater vent on the inside. Like I said, we'll do something with the ducting later on, but for now, if he's happy with that, we'll run with that. So the next thing from there is just the electrics, because we've got exhaust out, we've got air in, we've got warm air for the cabin in. I know if we go from here inside, it'll be more efficient and it will warm up a lot quicker. However, this heater is far too big for this application, so it doesn't really matter that it's going to be cool air coming in here. It's probably better, if anything, for us. So we'll have a look at the electrics now, and then we'll plumb up the fuel side of things. Get a job doing this. Doesn't pay very well though, Stu. What I'll do on the last bit is I put the drill on reverse, because if you don't do that, when it hits the carpet, it'll just rip all the carpet off the wall. You run it in reverse, yes, you've got to drill a bit more, but it will score the carpet and not grab a hold of it. As you can see there, that didn't rip any of the carpet or anything. And you get a perfect little circle. It basically burns its way through. So nice and easy. You cannot cock this bit up because each one of these is a different shape. So the controller here is a triangle. So what we're going to do, we're going to push this through and push the triangle into the triangle. Job's a good one. You then attach that to the wall. It really is that easy. And then what we'll do in the box itself, we're going to run a little bit of trunking, and that just keeps all the cable tidy, so when you're putting things on, you're not damaging it. One of the biggest things that I would say with these is just make sure your cable and make sure your fuel lines and everything, you're not going to catch them, because that's where you're going to have issues later down the line. You've seen the exhaust, you've seen the air intake. you've seen the ducting in, so, and then we've seen the cable go across, up and through for the display panel. As I've said before, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a bit of YT2 plastic trunk in, I'm going to run it down, I'm going to run it across. It keeps that protected then. As well as that, I can also run YT2 on the top, and I can put a little light in here as well. So it's win-win, worth doing. The next task then is fuel. So what we're going to do, we've got the fuel here. Parts of this, again, dead easy. We've got the fuel pump. It's a little plug-in thing, you can't mess it up. Each plug's different, you just cannot mess it up. Pipe, tank, filter, fixings. Okay, so what we're going to do on this one thing I would highly recommend, think about how you're going to fill this up. You put this in obscure cupboard out the way, how are you going to get diesel into it without spilling it and getting the smell of diesel everywhere? What we're doing for Stu, we're going to mount it just here. That way it's easy fillable. We're then going to put a protective aluminium thing over it eventually, and we're going to raptor it all the same apart from this little bit here, which won't get raptored, so we can still see the level on the side, so he knows when to top it up and not. He can then pour it in from the front, he can fill it up at petrol stations, whatever he wants to do. Personally, I run mine on cherry because it's half price. So we're going to go from here, put the nozzle in, from that to the filter, from the filter to the pump, from the pump to the unit itself. Dead easy. So on the bottom of the tank, there's no preference whether you come out the bottom or the side. And what people say is that when you're putting this in, you drop this in and you've got to feed it out here. So what people are doing is they're putting a piece of wire or a piece of string or something all the way down through here. They then put it through the middle of this and slide it down and faff about, but realistically you spend more time doing that than just dropping the thing in and poking it out, so we'll do it the latter way. So that's your little doofer. Like I say, you can feed it on a piece of wire, piece of string. I don't need 500 people in the comments telling me how I should do it. It's that quick. Right, I've not seen anybody put a piece of string in and faff about and do all that lot quicker than what that was, and the last one I did was actually quicker than that. It's really, people make out like it's this massive ordeal, and it's just not. Make sure you get your O-ring on there. There we go. So now you've got your valve at the bottom. What I'm going to do as well, which seems a little wrong, is I'm not going to fit this perfectly straight. You probably won't see it, but I can fit it ever so slightly like this. Reason being, fluid goes downhill, you're going to go to the tap into it. Seems like common sense, but you're going to get that one person that goes, oh, it's not quite straight. Because for some reason, this last, I don't know how long, I've had a lot of experts telling me how I need to do everything, when you can take one look through my backlog of stuff and you can see what I know, what I don't know from experience. So yeah, so there we go, we've got the fuel tank there. Please bear with the light, it's 8 o'clock, so that comes inside. Like I said, I'm gonna change these because this isn't the final thing, it's just to demonstrate. The fuel line comes in through the fuel filter, it comes into the fuel pump just here, it comes round and into the actual unit itself. You can see where everything else is. We're going to connect the battery up. This isn't where the battery's going to live. Again, this is for demonstration purposes only, because the battery actually lives in the rear when the trailer's done. But in a wanna for the video, you know, I've got to show it working. Right, so bear with now. What we're going to do, we've just put power on. Hopefully that connection's strong enough, that battery's strong enough to do this. But to start with, what we are going to do is we need to prime this now, because obviously that fuel line, the filter, everything's full of air. So when you first power up, you get just 0002, obviously 2 minutes since I put the battery on. Press and hold the bottom two buttons here for a second. H off, we're going to press up, so it says H on, and you'll see the little symbol of the fuel pump kick in, and it's going to start tap 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 tapping. When you can see that all the air's gone through, just press the down button and it'll turn that fuel pump off. Press the power button, you can fire the thing up. It's that simple. So you can hear that tapping away. And just down here already, we can start to see a couple of bubbles. Again, not the final product. I keep having to emphasise this now. I apologise to those of you that are switched on, but for some reason, recently, I've had quite a lot of people that haven't got a clue that seem to want to tell me how to do everything, and they can't watch enough of the video to know that I've already explained it. All this is going to go in trunking, and this isn't living here. So as you can see, it's pushing through, pushing through, pushing through. We're going to keep an eye on until all of this here is full of diesel. We're going to make sure that the filter's full of diesel. Once that's on, we'll stop it priming, and then we'll turn the heater on itself. Something I didn't explain. So you see the rubber mount that's holding the fuel pump? You're supposed to screw that straight to the wall. However, if you screw that straight to the wall, you end up with an absolute ton of resonance. Oh, that needs another cycle. So what I do is I put a bolt in and tie wrap to the bottom of the I tie wrap from the bolt to the fuel pump holder, and it dangles off it. That way you only get the tapping of the unit and no resonance on the actual wall. So we did one cycle there, wasn't quite enough, so we're doing another cycle now. As you can see, it's getting towards the top of the loop. We'll adjust all these angles, because there is actually an angle of the fuel pump that you're supposed to have when it's running. We will adjust all that later on. It's not the exact science that some people say it is. Hear the tone changing as the diesel comes in? See how much quieter that's getting now? Probably doesn't sound quiet at all, because it's the only noise you can hear. So once you think you're somewhere near, we're going to take this off of H on, press down, which goes to H off. We can then press the power button. So now it's saying on. What this is now doing, everything's very visual on this. So you can see that the fan has started spinning there. You can see the heater plug symbol has come on there. And in a second, obviously you've got air coming in and out there, and then we'll start to see the fuel pump. Can't get my words out tonight. Dehydrated again. So this is set to hertz at the minute. We're going to change this. It's all in the book. There's 1,000,001 videos on it. I'm not going to bore you to death with the settings, because one, you get an instruction book, and two, there is 1,000,000 videos on YouTube on every little setting, every little feature of this. As well as that, there's a Facebook group, some Chinese diesel heater group, and everybody on there is super helpful. And there you go now. So you've got the fan symbol on, you've got the pump on, you've got the heater plug on, everything's all go, it's all working, it's all awesome. So what we're going to do now is just going to wait for it to fire up, and we'll start to see if some heat comes through. So there we go, fitted. A few of the items that are left over. Okay, we've got a T-piece that I didn't need. This comes in handy if you want multiple vents out of different locations, like say under your bed, out of a bathroom, something like that. You've obviously got the other head there. If you didn't want to use the fuel tank supplied and you wanted to tap into the vehicle's fuel tank, or you wanted to tap in something else, they do give you this little doofer here that you can screw onto the top of something, and yeah, whatever, I don't know, don't use it, I just use that. I suppose in theory as well you could put this down through here and use this one. I know some people like to go in through the top because they're worried about catching the little nozzle at the bottom. Again, there's loads of groups on this, there's 1,000 ways. Obviously didn't use those because I didn't tee off anywhere. They give you plenty of fuel line. Ideal world, this is alright, it's like what you use on a motocross bike. Personally, I'm going to change this up eventually for either put it in some little plastic, I want to say conduit, Copex, some plastic Copex, or I may even just get the braided fuel line that I use for the Land Rover. You get the remote control with this unit, nice little touch. you've got your on, your off, and your heat up and down. This is nice if you're around the campfire, you're ready to go to bed, hit this, get your trailer, your camper, whatever, warmed up for half an hour before you go in. Nice. Yeah, or you can even do that. I've done that from my on my Land Rover, from a kitchen window to warm it up before I actually go out. That's that. Nice, easy install. Like I say, the only thing that would have been better is if there was a little more ducting. If there was a bit more ducting, I'm guessing it's about 1/2 metre. When you stretch it out, you got a little bit longer. If there was another length of that, maybe 2 lengths of that, it would have been a real nice touch. But other than that, it's a good heater. I've run one for years and years and years in my Land Rover. I can't fault it. So got one on Stu's trailer now. Thank you very much for MaXpeedingRods. Link down below, because someone will always ask me where I got this from. Thank you very much for sending it out. Check it out. There is multiple different ones on there. There's I think it's have a look, make sure where the location is, because some are based in the UK, some are based in China. Pick the UK ones if you're in the UK, obviously. Yes, there are a few cheaper on eBay, but this one's working, and you do get a few extra little pieces in it. Like I say, I've seen the cheaper ones on eBay, and they come with, like, say, the silencer missing, or you won't get a T-piece, or you won't get the 2 vents. So it's up to you. Make your own decisions. You're all grown adults. Yeah, I'm happy. So here we go. Just got a little bit of trunking to put up there. I've not put that bit on just yet, because I'm putting a light switch in there for a locker light for in here, and a light that goes on the front to light up the hitch and everything if Stu ever wants to hitch and unhitch in the dark, that kind of thing. So that's not on just yet, so forgive that there. Put a little bit of trunking down both sides here, just to protect the signal cable that goes up into there. Put one down there just to protect the line that goes there. What I'm probably going to do is, when I finished all this bit, you're not going to get to a lot of this from where the fridge is going to sit over there that slides out. But anyway, fuel pump on here. Obviously it's not bolted to there, it's hanging off of a tie wrap, so it's nice and loose. Again, this gets rid of a lot of the tapping. It's a known thing on YouTube, so yeah, there we go. Comes along here. That cable that you can just see at the back there, that's for the power. Obviously I had it connected to the battery, you saw that running and everything. I've taken the battery out again now, and I'm just waiting on, when I put the posts in here, to have a bit of a power distribution board on this, so that's later down the line. Okay, so as always, all the information in the description below. You've seen how I do it. Obviously it might not be how you do it, but this works for this application. As I've said previously, I will be upgrading a few little bits and pieces to suit what I'm doing for Stu and his application, but all in all, it's a good kit. You get plenty of extra bits, like the different pickups, the silencers, odds and sods like that. Would have been nice to have a little bit more pipe, but that's neither here nor there. It's pennies if you buy that separate. I suppose if you know, it doesn't really matter, because you can order it as well as. But yeah, thank you very much for sending the kit out. It's going to be very much appreciated, and there will be some further use in this in the field. So there we go. It's a bit of a summary. I've had a couple of these kits now from different people. This one seemed to come with a few more little bits and pieces. There was more fittings, fixings, things like that. There's a more comprehensive instruction book with pictures and all in English, which makes a difference. And yeah, it just gave a few more options, so it's I'd probably say well worth the money. The proof's in the pudding though. I need to get out, get it tested, get some use on it, but all in all, yeah, well happy with it. And yeah, hope that was of use to people that are wondering whether they can fit it or not on their own. Like I say, there's going to be plenty of people saying you're going to burn everything down with diesel heaters and all that lot. There's always going to be naysayers. You've seen from comment sections and all the rest of it what I get, and 99% of these people haven't got a clue, and if you look on their pages, they've got nothing to back it up. So bear that in mind, do your own research, make your own educated decisions, and don't let faceless people on the internet put you off having a go at this stuff. If you're in doubt, fit it, get someone knowledgeable to check it over before you fire it up. Okay, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.